Today, we're learning about how NC Arts in Action is teaching life skills to children through dance and music. Here to tell us more about NC Arts in Action's mission and teaching methods is Alton Tisnell, Artistic Director and Master Teaching Artist of NC Arts in Action. It's great to see you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
So that's a very impressive title. What do you do?
Well, it's a very humbling title. My role as Artistic Director is to oversee the teaching quality of our in-school programs. We serve in 12 schools all across the Triangle area, and I work directly with the classroom teachers. And each of our classes, we have 3 artists, 2 dance instructors, and live musicians. Live music is essential to our program, so I oversee that. I develop the curriculum and all of the artistic components for our programming in the schools.
Well, that's why you have an impressive title, because that's an impressive thing that you're doing. Well, you know, I'm just curious, you know, teachers are really kind of boxed in there, pressure to get what they need to get in. How have you been received in these classrooms? I mean, 12 schools, that's a lot of schools.
It is. Well, the principals, first and foremost, are the most important pieces to this, because without their support, it doesn't trickle down to the teachers. Right. And we require in our contract with the schools to have the classroom teacher actually be in the classes with us. So sometimes we have to share the gymnasium, other times we're in the auditorium. But while they're there for that hour block, the teachers are actually along in the process with the students. And the teachers just love it. Some of the teachers even get up and dance with the students. They see some students who don't necessarily achieve high academically in the classroom completely transform into a completely different student. And that affects the way that peers see them. So it has a really, really profound effect on the classroom teachers and the entire school as a whole.
Now, what's your background, if I may ask?
Well, my background, let me go way back into time. I actually am a product of this same program. So we are associated with the National Dance Institute of New York City, which was founded by Jacques D'Amboise, former principal dancer with the New York City Ballet. And when he retired from the ballet, he wanted to create this program, not to create professional dancers, but to give children the exposure to the arts, because he felt that the arts changed the trajectory of his life. So he created the National Dance Institute in 1976. There are currently 11 other associates, and long time ago in Texas, this program came to my school. I was in the 4th grade, didn't have many friends, but for some reason this program, music, dancing, learning through the arts, just completely transformed my life. It gave me a sense of pride, a sense of achievement that I'd never experienced before, and I was fortunate enough, being in the right place at the right time. I met the founder, Jacques D'Amboise. It was summer of 2000, and he took me under his wings, and he became a really great mentor for me. And I did a lot of workshops with him over the summers, and my senior year of college, he called me out of the blue. I hadn't seen him for years, and he said, "Alton, I have this program that we're gonna start in North Carolina. I want you to be a part of it." So picture this, college student in Texas, senior year, still finishing up school, working in North Carolina at the same time. So I would go back and forth. I would do my studies during the week, and then at the end of the week, I would travel to North Carolina to help launch the program here, and that was about 11 years ago. And I also have a background in music. I grew up in the church, and my aunt was the minister of music. So I've always been around music and dance, but I was fortunate enough to meet these great figures who really influenced me to do what I'm doing today.
Because you lived it. Help me understand what kind of an impact it really does have on kids, and I mean kids of all sizes, shapes, and you know, and talents. What imprint do you place on them?
Well, for me, what I'm doing now, it's coming full circle, because what we do is really, it's not necessarily the technique behind what we teach. It's really about teaching those life skills. Persistence on a particular task, teamwork, never giving up. Those things are really important, and the children get a sense of accomplishment that they may have never achieved before, and they carry that. It's like a blueprint for success. This is what we always tell them. If they follow those 3 rules, that's the blueprint for success. Be respectful to yourself and each other, always give 100%, and never give up. That applies to other aspects of your lives. So this small little time in their lives, when they're going through this process of learning a dance and presenting it to an audience, they can use that in other aspects of their lives.
What is a typical class like, if I may ask? You know, you say live musicians, very important.
Sure.
I would never have thought of that.
So some schools provide a piano. Some of our musicians carry congas, or other musicians carry their keyboards. So we set up, sometimes in a gymnasium, and you have 30 faces not knowing what to expect, especially on the first day. So they come in, the first thing that we do is called the call and response. So I'm gonna show you now. You do it.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready? And that's one thing that we do. We keep them off guard. I go first and then you go. I go first. So the call and response technique, was that hard? You did it. You
No,
did it
I
beautifully.
did. I feel
And
much
you
more
kept the
confident.
beat. So the first thing that we
I
do,
have no rhythm at all.
that's a way of engaging our students. We do a call and response, and then we give them a challenge. Can you find your space in 20 spots? You have 20 counts to find a spot, spread out, making sure that you're not bumping into each other. So they learn about spatial awareness as well. So we do that. We get them in a space where they're spread out, and then we start our classes with a warm-up. And it's just following the teacher. We also turn the room around. That way, every child at some point has an opportunity to be up front. So every single child matters, so they can't lurk in the back. And usually, this happens 9 times out of 10. The most important child in the room is the child hiding out in the back in the corner.
Yes.
So my goal as a teaching artist is to make sure that I bring out the best in that child. Even if it takes 15 weeks, we want to focus on that child who's struggling, who doesn't necessarily want to do it at first.
I get a sense you don't give up on any kids.
Never give up. We always say, so when we go over that third rule, never give up, we say, we will follow you to the ends of the earth. And they don't believe us at first, so we have to break down that wall. Once you break down the wall of trust, then they're good.
So what do you take away from all of this, just as you, as an individual?
What do I take away
Yeah, what
from
do
it?
you take away?
I take away from it that we are really affecting the lives of children, and I really wish that more people would have the opportunity to witness it. I mean, you can talk about it all day long, but you really have to see the process and see how the teaching artists work with the students, and it truly does take a village. It's just not one person. It's not the executive director and myself. It's the teaching artists, it's the classroom teachers, it's the principals, it's our board of directors. It's everybody who all share the mission and they believe in the mission of affecting the lives of children through dance. It's really important. I believe. That's what I take away from it.
Well, it sounds like you're very passionate, and I believe you. And I believe you. Alton, I appreciate the time today. Thank you so much.
Bill.
Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Stick around, because when we come back, we are going to go into the classroom to experience NC Arts action firsthand, and you won't want to miss it.